Good afternoon to all. Balakrishnan sir,
yes,
shall we start?
Yes, ma'am, please. Good afternoon.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Duraimurugan sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, please introduce the speaker.
Okay, ma'am. So, good afternoon to all of you. So, today we are in session 3. The topic is basics of networking and network devices and information security perspectives. So, today our guest is Dr. S. Balakrishnan. So, now I am going to deliver the speaker's profile. Dr. S. Balakrishnan is a professor and head Department of Computer Science and Business Systems at the Sri Krishna College of Engineering and Technology, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu, India. He has 18 years of experience in teaching, research, and administration. He has published over 15 books, 6 book chapters, 23 technical articles in CSI Communication magazines, 24 technical blogs, 1 article in Electronics for You, EFY magazine, 5 articles in Open Source for You magazines, and over 100 plus publications in highly cited journals and conferences. Some of his professional awards include Faculty with Maximum Publishing in CSI Communication 2017-19, International Data Science Writer of the Year 2019, MTC Global Outstanding Researcher Award, Contributor Competitions winner July 2019 to December 2019 by Data Science Foundations with the cash prize of €1,000. 100 Inspiring Authors of India. Deloitte Innovation Award, cash prize rupees 10,000 from Deloitte for Smart India Hackathon 2018, and Patent Published Award, Impactful Author of the Year 2017-18. His research interests are AI, cloud computing, and IoT. He has delivered several guest lectures, seminars, and a session chair for various conferences. He is serving as a reviewer and editorial board member of many reputed journals and acted as a session chair and a technical program committee member of national conferences and international conferences at Vietnam, China, America, and Bangkok. He has published more than 21 patents on IoT applications and 1 granted copyright. So now the session will be handed over to Dr. S. Balakrishnan. Sir?
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for your warm welcome. I would like to give a warm thanks to the host of St. Joseph College of Engineering, the patrons of institution, and a big thanks to the convener and coordinator. It gives me a great pleasure for me to extend my wishes to all the participants. So the today topic is the basics of networking and network devices in terms of that information security perspective. So as of now, so today we are in the world of that IT world. That is, we are in the IoT world. We are in the artificial intelligence world. So as per that, the today hacks, the data breaches, and some cyber attacks are the most common than ever before. So in fact, the number of data breaches that exposed to private record more than doubled between 2015 and 2019 alone. So the increasing number and the severity of these attacks, it makes the network security a topic of utmost importance, especially for the current and prospective certified IT professionals. So we live in an age of information. So we are in the IT world, we are in the information world. Here the businesses these days are most digitally advanced than ever, and as technology improves, the organization's security postures that must be enhanced as well. So now with many devices communicating with each other over wired or wireless or cellular networks, so in that case the network security is an important concept. So the today's network architecture is somewhat complex, and it is faced with a threat environment that is always changing, and attackers that are always trying to find and exploit vulnerabilities. So these vulnerabilities can exist in a broad number of areas, including some networking devices, in terms of data, in terms of applications, in terms of users, as well as location oriented. So based on this introduction, based on this short introduction, then I will go with that today's presentation. The screen is visible.
Google.
Screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this will be our today's the webinar sessions outline. First, we for discussing about the introduction of networking, and secondly, introduction about the network devices, and third will be the network need for the network security, and followed by some basic security requirements, and what are the different data classification, and what are the security types, and end up with that how to make your system and network with safe. So these are the today's outline. So next one and a half hours, we are going to discuss about these points. So first the introduction about that computer networking. So whenever go for focusing about computer networking, so whenever the basics of computer networking, here mainly we are having in our mind, actually we are having that open system as well as the closed system. So whenever go for the focusing about the networking, the open system is nothing but a system which is connected to the network and it's ready for communication. Next, the closed system. But in this system, this system is not connected to the network, but it can't be communicated with. So that is the thing. So the difference between the open system and closed system. So the computer network is nothing but it's an interconnection of multiple devices. We may say it's also known as a host. So that are connected using multiple paths for the purpose of sending and receiving the data or media somewhere. So in that case, computer networks can also that include the multiple devices. We say the medium of transferring the data or information. So which help in the communication between the two different devices. So these are known as network devices. And include the network devices may be, we may say the routers, switches, hubs, and bridges. So these are some of the network devices we will discuss in the upcoming slides. So next, that's the basics of some computer networking. So as that based on the wireless networking, whenever go for establishing such a wireless networking, you can choose between the three types of deployment. So the deployment is very important for establishing such a wireless networking. We may say the centralized deployment, converged deployment, and another important thing, the cloud-based deployment. So as per the centralized deployment, the most common type of, whenever the wireless networking system or wireless network system, the most common type of is a centralized deployment. Is traditionally used in the campuses where the building and networkers are in close proximity. So this deployment consolidates the wireless network, so which makes the upgrades easier and facilitate advanced wireless functionality. So that is as per that centralized deployment. Here the controllers are based on premises and are installed in a centralized location. That's called as a centralized deployment. Second deployment, as per that wireless networking, second important deployment for establishing such a wireless network is the converged deployment. So as per that converged deployment, we are used for the small campus or branch offices or some converged deployment offers consistently in wireless and wired connections. So this deployment converges wired and wireless on one network device. So we may say that an access with the switch and perform the dual role, both the switch as well as the wireless controller in that converged deployment. The third type of deployment for establishing the wireless networking is the cloud-based deployment. So the cloud-based, so at present we are in that cloud-based system. So the cloud, as per the cloud-based deployment, this system uses the cloud to manage the network devices deployed on premises at different locations. So this type of solution, this type of cloud-based deployment solution requires some Cisco devices, Cisco Meraki, we may say the Cisco Meraki cloud managed devices. That device will provide a full visibility of the network through their dashboards. So that is one provider for the cloud-based deployment. That is a Cisco Meraki. This device will be useful for making that such a cloud-based deployment. So in this case, what are the internet networking devices? As per the computer networking, we are having either wired or wireless, so some sort of networking are there. So what are the internet networking devices? So the internet networking devices are the products used to connect the networks. So as a computer networks grow in size and complexity, So do the internetworking devices also used to connect them. So the main part, that is all the way the connecting devices is very important for performing that networking, performing for such a communication. So nowadays all the way the networkings are growing in size as well as the complexity also. So all the way we are using the different networking devices for performing such a thing. So, with a brief introduction about that computer networking and wireless networking, I will see that what is the purpose of networking devices? Why we go for networking devices? So, we are aware of that the network device is nothing but is a node in the wired or in the wireless mesh network. So, it can transmit and receive the wireless data. So, the data may be in the form of hard data. We may say HART, that is a highway addressable remote transducer. This is one data and perform the basic functions necessary to support the network formations and maintenance. So that is one important thing in that whenever we go for the network device, that is the wireless transmitting and receiving the wireless hard data, that is HART, H for the highway addressable remote transducer. So with the help of that. So here the network devices include for the field devices include as the network devices. It may be useful for the field devices or router devices or some sort of gateway devices, and as well as the mesh handheld devices like that. So based on that, so the purpose of networking network devices, first it allow the network devices, it allow a greater number of nodes to be connected to the network. So that is a thing. So in that networking device is very important for connecting with all the nodes. And secondly, whenever go for extending the network, so that it will extend the distance over which a network can extend. So in that is also very important. That's why we go for networking devices. Third, they localize the traffic on the network. So the traffic flow, the traffic, how about the traffic of particular network in that network. So that will be identified with the help of the networking devices. So that is the purpose. The fourth purpose, they can merge the existing network. So that is also possible. The adaptability, it will be adaptable with the existing networking devices as well. So the fifth one, the networking devices, it isolates the network problem so that they can be diagnosed more easily. So these are some of the purpose. That's why we go for networking purpose in number of greater number of nodes in terms of extending the distance and traffic localization and merging the existing networking as well as isolating the network problem. So for that purpose, we go for the networking devices. So these are the purpose of networking devices. Next, what are the different networking devices are there? So as per the, we are aware of that ISO OSI layer, open source data connection layer, that are based on that ISO OSI layer. All the way we are having physical layer to that application. So all the different layers are there. So the networking devices, the devices can be used in the different layers. From the physical layer and data link layer, all the way we are using different networking devices. So the networking devices may be it may be in terms of switches, routers, hubs, bridges. Then we may say some sort of bridges also. So these are some of the networking devices. So as per that, we are using the repeaters, routers, switch, hubs, and bridges. So we will elaborate, we will discuss in the upcoming slide. So the switches is nothing but so switches do not allow you to forward the packet to other networks. So they can only switch the frames from one port to another port on the same network segment. That is an important thing in the switches. So switches, it will not allow you to forward the packets to other network. Just it can switch the frames from one port to another port in the same network segment. A router is nothing but the routers are used to create the internetwork. So whenever we go for internetworking, the router is very important. So they use a routing table or maps of the internetwork to make the path selection and send the data packet to other network also. So next, the hub. The hub is very important to operate on the same network segment. They cannot divide a network. So sometimes the hub is also called as a network hub. It's a common connection point for devices in a network. So hub or hubs, we may say the hubs are the devices commonly used to connect the segments of a LAN. So whenever we go for using the LAN, local area network, the hub is very important thing for connecting that segments. So also the hub contains the multiple ports. So when a packet arrives at one port, so it is copied to the other port so that all the segment of the LAN can see all the packets. So that is a very important advantage in that hub. So our next thing is a bridges. So the bridge has is a two interface devices. Just it can connect only two networks, so that it do not communicate very often. So that is a thing in the bridges. So that is all the things. So the here the switches and the bridges can create the LAN and separate the collision domains, but they cannot be used to create for the separate LANs like that. So these are some of the networking devices. So on the upcoming slide, we will discuss one by one in an elaborate manner. So the first, the local area networks and devices. So as per that, the local area network, so the most residential LAN use a single router to create the network and manage all the connected devices. So here the router is act as a central connection point and enable the devices such as computers or some sort of tablets or some smartphones to communicate with each other. So in that case, so typically the router is connected to a cable or modem. That is we may say the DSL modem, which provides the internet access to the connected devices. So as per that LAN, as per the local area networks, the local area network, the LAN may be a wired or wireless or a combination of both. So here the standard wired LAN, it uses the Ethernet. As per that here, it uses the Ethernet. So the Ethernet to connect the devices together. So that's the purpose. That's why the Ethernet will be useful. So apart from that, the wireless LANs are typically created using Wi-Fi signal. If a router supports both Ethernet and Wi-Fi connections, it can be used to create a LAN with both wired as well as wireless connections. So in general, we may say there are two types of LAN, a client-server LAN as well as the peer-to-peer that LAN. As per the client-server LAN, that is as per the client-server LAN, it consists of several devices that we may say that is a clients. It connected to the central server. So here, in that, as per that client-server LAN, the server mainly manages the file storage, all the application accesses, the device access, and the network traffic. So in that, client can be any connected devices that runs or access the applications or the internet. So that is a main communication between that client-server LAN. So here the client connect to the server either with the cables or through some wireless connection. That is in terms of that media. So the media is a wireless media or wired media. If it's wired media, means we go with the cables and like that. Second important types of LAN is the peer-to-peer LAN. As per that peer-to-peer LAN, it does not have a central server, but it cannot handle heavy workload like a client-server LAN. But it can. So it's typically smaller. The size is typically smaller. So on a peer-to-peer LAN, each devices shares equally in functioning of the network. So the devices share the resources and the data through the wired or wireless connection to the switch or router. So as per that, here the LANs are designed to operate with a limited geographic area. That's in terms of like client server or peer-to-peer. And it's also allows the multi-access to the high bandwidth media. And it controls the network privately under the local administration. And also it provides full-time connectivity to the local services and connect the physically adjacent devices. So as per that local area network and devices here, we are having different devices under the local area network. Bridges is there, hub is there, Ethernet switch, router, ATM switch. So here the switch, all the way the Ethernet switch is there, ATM switch is there. So we are using the switches in the layer 1 and layer 2. So sometimes the switch layer 2, we are using actually that ATM switch, we may use it in the layer 2. The Ethernet switch, we can use it in the layer 3. So as per that, layer 1 and layer 2, see here, this layer 2 is nothing but, we may say the ATM switch. So layer 2 switch essentially provides the functions of a bridge in the same form factor as a hub. So same as hub, we will see it in the upcoming slide, what is hub and how the communication will be established, what is the use of hub in that communication establishment and all. So here in switch, as per that ATM switch in the layer 2, here the switches are often seen in the modern network and are placed in the network where the hubs were 20 years ago. But still, we are in some cases we are using that type of layer 2 switches. So each port on a switch provides a separate collision domain and is typically connected to the single end device. So the modern switches can provide over a gigabit of traffic per port on the switch for exceeding the capability of the hub of the fast. So next, switch layer 3, that is a Ethernet switch in the layer 3. In that main purpose of that Ethernet switch, the layer 3 is one of the things that can get very confusing for individual. That is a new to that network field is the difference between the layer 3 switch and the router. So the easy answer for that is here each device is able to perform the duties that have been traditionally referenced to a router. So where they do differ is in the amount and the type of interfaces supported and amount of total throughput available and the number of features supported. So based on that, we are performing the thing. So the router traditionally has a limited number of total interfaces, but typically it supports many different types of interfaces, both LAN as well as the WAN. So the layer 3 switch, as per that layer 3, it's nothing but Ethernet switch. So layer 3 switch, it typically has more interfaces that are limited to Ethernet and has a much higher total throughput capacity. So that's why all the way we are using that Ethernet switch, the layer 3. So as per that, here Ethernet has a higher throughput capacity is there. So that is the local area network and devices. So in that local area network, we are using the devices, bridge, hub, Ethernet switch. So the Ethernet switch is a layer 3, router and ATM switch, the ATM switch in the layer 2 like that. So that is a overview of that local area network and devices. Next thing is a wide area network and devices. That is a WAN. So when an individual company or organization has the locations that are separated by large geographical distances, so it will be a matter of necessity to connect these individual locations so as to sharing the information, exchanging and managing the data or communication. So for that, it's very important. To achieve this, the organization needs a telecommunication service provider. We may say the TSP, that is a telecommunication provider, to interconnect the LAN at the different locations. So as per that telecommunication service provider, as per that WAN, we are having some telecommunication provider. So the telecommunication provider manages the large area network that can span the long distances. So the telecommunication service provider transported the voice and data communications on separate networks. So these networks that connect the LAN in geographically separated locations are referred to as a wide area network. So as per that, the wide area network, the WAN, the main function of WAN is nothing but the WAN generally connect the devices that are separated by a broader geographical area than can be served by a LAN. And second important function of WAN is it uses the services of carriers, that is such as we may say the telephone companies or cable companies or some sort of satellite system or some sort of network providers. So they are carrying the services with the help of the WAN. And apart from that, another main function in that WAN is it provides, the WAN uses the serial connections of various types to provide the access to bandwidth over the large geographic areas. So that is the thing. That's why we are mainly focusing about the WAN. So the WAN are designed to operate over geographic of telecommunications carrier. So that is a telecommunication carrier is nothing but the carrier may be a telephone companies or cable companies or satellite system and some network providers. And second thing, it allows the access over the serial interfaces. That is a serial connections is also there. Third is it control the network subject to the regulated public services. And apart from that, it will provide the full-time and part-time connectivity also. That is another important advantage. And apart from that, the wide area network, it connects the devices separated over wide, even global areas. So as per wide area network, we are using some devices. So the devices, mainly there are specifically the specially designed network devices that are used to interconnect the LANs. So in that thing, whenever go for using the that WAN, configuring, installing, and maintenance of these devices, that expert skill by skilled technician for the management of the organization's network. So here, some of the devices specific to the WAN environment are, we may say, modem. That is we may say the router, modem, ATM switch. That is a CSC or DSU. That is modem. That's the modem access server. The access server is also called as a communication server. That is a WAN switches, router, core router. So these are the some of the devices, networking devices for establishing such a WAN operation or WAN communication. So here the router, in that WAN, the router provides the interconnection between the LAN and WAN and access the interface ports that are used to connect to the service provider network. So second thing is a core router. We are having the core router. Apart from the router, we are having the core router. So the main purpose of the core router, the router will be resides within the middle or backbone of the WAN rather than it's a periphery. So that is the thing. So to fulfill this core router role, the router must be able to support the multiple telecommunication interfaces of the highest speed in use in the WAN core, and it must have the ability to forward the IP packets at full speed on all those interfaces. So that is the thing. The second thing is a WAN switch. So the switch, ATM switch. So as per that WAN switch, multi-port internetworking devices used in carrier networks. So these networks, these devices, these switches typically switch the traffic such as the ATM and operate at the data link layer of the OSI reference model. So the public switched telephone network, that is a PSTN, switches may also be used within the cloud for circuit switched connections like integrated ISDN, that is integrated services digital network, or some sort of dial-up connections. So that is the main purpose of WAN switch. So second thing is a modem. The modem may be in form of that we may say the CSU or DSU modem. So the modem, it enables the digital data to be sent over an analog medium during the transmission and receiving information. So here the voice band modem convert the digital signals produced by a computer in terms of zeros and ones into the voice frequencies that can be transmitted over the analog lines in the telephone network. So as per that, CSC DSU is nothing but channel service unit, or we may say the data service unit. So these are the combined piece of equipment used for monitoring the clocking and frame synchronization on a line. So whenever establishing such a communication or connection between the devices, different LANs, here all the way the CSC and DSU equipment is mainly used for monitoring, clocking, and frame synchronization. So apart from that, it also performs the error detection. So the error detection specifically the error detection will be occur in the physical layer. So as per the CSU and DSU, the error detection also perform in the physical layer, and it would be called that as a modem sort of like that. So that is the thing. Next thing is an access server, or it's also called as a communication server. So as per that access server or communication server, mainly this communication server, it constantly the dial in and dial out user communications. So an access server, that is a communication server, may have a mixture of analog and digital interfaces and support the hundreds of simultaneous users. So as per that, here we are using a very important thing, that is a software defined WAN, that is a SD-WAN, where we're using SD-WAN is one important approach in that WAN architecture. So before that, here WAN is mainly that the software-defined WAN is nothing but is an approach for making a WAN architecture easier to deploy, operate, and manage. So mainly that software-defined WAN is depends on the virtualization, application level policies, and as well as the overlay network and some sort of software platform also. So whenever we are using software defined WAN, that is SD-WAN, it increases the data transfer efficiency across a WAN by moving a traffic to lower cost network links to do the work for out of more expensive leased or MPLS lines like that. So that is a MPLS line is nothing but multi-protocol label switching. So as per the switch here, the MPLS, that multi-protocol label switching is very important. It's a network routing optimization technique. It directs the data from one node to the other node using the short path label rather than the long network addresses to avoid the time-consuming table in the lookup. So whereas whenever using the router, all the way it will, based on the routing, all the information can be stored in the table, that is the router table. From that table only the direction will be performing. So that in that case, to avoid the time consuming in the table lookup, this MP, that is the multi-protocol label switching, will be useful for that. So that is a wide area network and devices. So here, what internet networking devices operate at the physical layer? So as per that layer 1, as per that OSI model, the layer 1 is a physical layer. In that physical layer, in that layer 1, what type of internet networking devices we are using that are operating in that thing, in the physical layer? So first thing is a repeater. So the repeater can provide a simple solution if either of these two problems exist. That is the previous problem. So based on that problem, whenever the communication is established between the sender and receiver, if any problem is arising, the repeater that provides a solution for avoiding such a problem. So when the signal first leave a transmitting station, they are clean and easily recognizable. However, the longer the cable length is longer or the weaker, and the more deteriorated the signals become, so as they pass along the networking media. So to avoid such a thing, so the repeater will be useful. So the repeater is a one device, one networking device that it is used in the layer 1. So as per that physical layer. So to avoid such a thing, whenever the signal leave a transmitting station, so they are clean and easily recognizable. So to avoid that's a thing. So that is first thing when internet networking devices operate at the physical layer, that is a layer 1 in that as per that OSI model. So the location of the repeater. So the repeater is located in the physical layer. So here in terms of media and repeater, so that is the location of the repeater in that layer 1. Second, what is the disadvantages associated with using a repeater? So first disadvantage, it can't filter actually whenever the repeater, it cannot use as a filter network traffic. So here the data sometimes referred to as a bits, either 0 or 1. So arriving at one port of a repeater gets sent out all other ports. So that is the one that the filtering is not much possible. So that is the one disadvantage of that repeater. The next thing, the data gets passed along by a repeater to all other LAN segments of a network, regardless of whether it needs to go there or no. So that is also not possible as per that repeater. So that is a problem. So what problem would occur as a result of too much traffic on a network? So whenever actually we are using that network communication from actually we are establishing the communication from one end to other end. So here what type of problem would occur as a result of too much traffic on a network? So as per that, here if the segments of a network are only connected by non-filtering devices, example is we may say the repeaters. So this can result in more than one user trying to send the data on the network at the same time. So that is the data conflict will be occurring, that is the data congestion will be occurring at that time. So if more than one node attempt to transmit at the same time, that is a collision will be occurring. Second, that when a collision occurs, the data from each device impact sometimes the data will be damaged. So that is a problem. So the data damaging will be occurring whenever the collision will be performing in the same networking. That's the thing. So what internet networking devices can be used to filter the traffic on the network? So the repeater is not possible to filter the traffic, but what type of networking device can be used to filter the traffic on the network? So as per that, here one way to solve the problem of too much traffic on a network and too many collisions is to use an internet networking device. That device is called as a bridge. So that bridge is very important for making such a traffic, avoiding such a traffic, filtering. The filtering of the traffic will be performing in that bridge. So a bridge eliminates the unnecessary traffic and it minimizes the chances of collisions occurring on a network by dividing it into segments. So based on these segments, that type of collision, that type of traffic will be avoided. So that is the thing. So as per that, here hub, the hub, it operates at physical layer. That is, the hub is also in the layer 1. As per that OSI model, it's in the physical layer. But main emphasis in that hub, here all the devices attached to a hub are on the same collision and broadcast domain. So a hub is a layer 1 device. So that's why the hub is in the layer 1 device. So here in that hub, the devices share the same bandwidth. So that is the thing, that traditionally the computers are connected to each other using the cable. That's it forms a network. That is, it creates a network. So here the cable used most often is the Ethernet, which consists of 4 pairs of wires inside of a plastic jackets. So in that case, it is physically similar to the phone cable, but can transfer much more data. That's the thing. But the cables and computers alone do not make a good network. So one early solution was to use for that we are using a network. One network solution is needed for that. That is called as a hub. So here in that hub, the Ethernet cable from the computer connect to the device, similar to the hub of a bike wheel or like that. So where all the spokes come together in a center. So like that. So here this is we make say that is a hub. It's a bike of wheel like that. We may say in a bike wheel, everything will be common and everything will be integrated within from the common. So that is the thing. So as per the hub, the multi-port repeaters are often called as a hub. Here the hub are very common in networking devices. So generally speaking, the term hub is used to instead of a repeater. That's when referring to the device that serves as a center of a star topology network. So the hub mainly provided star topology. So here all the way, suppose if you want to, the computer A wants to send a message to computer B. So it sends a message through the Ethernet cable to the hub. Then the hub repeats the message to all the connected computers. So all the way, based on that only, the hub will be activated. So from sending a message from one system to other system. So whenever sending the information from one system to other system, as per the hub, it sends the message through the Ethernet cable to the hub, and then the hub will only repeat the message to all the connected computers. So that is the main purpose. Mainly the hub is activated like that. So hub is a device that serves as a center of the star topology network, and sometimes it referred to as a multi-port repeater or in an Ethernet or a concentrator, but it's not an intelligent one. So here this is a hub. So here the different systems are connected. So suppose we want to communicate from one system to other system. In the sense here, it sends a message through the Ethernet cable to the hub. From the hub, it will repeat the same message to all the connected computers, or which one you want to communicate, or which one you want to send the message to which computer. That communication will be established with the help of hub. So that is the thing. So next thing is the switches. Basically the switches and bridges, it operate in the data link layer. That is the second layer, layer 2. So the previous hub is in the physical layer, but second thing is the switches and bridges. But here we are focusing about the switches. So the mainly switches, it operate in the data link layer. So the main emphasis for the switches is to reduce the number of collisions. So the switch can be split into multiple segments. So that's the main thing. Each in a separate collision domain. It's not all the segment. So all segments are in the same broadcast domain. Whenever the switches will be performing, the important note in that switches is all the segment are in the same broadcast domain. So here, switches allow the devices on your network to communicate with each other, so as well as with other networks. So creating a network of shared resources. So through that information sharing and resource allocation, switches, it saves the money as well as the increase the productivity. So that's why the switches is another very important thing. So as per the current scenario, there are two basic types of switches to choose from a part of your networking basics. That is on premises and cloud managed. So the cloud, you manage an on-premises switch that you configure and monitor your LAN and giving you a tighter control of your network traffic. So that is a small IT team. So here the cloud-based cloud managed switch can simplify your network management. So you get a simpler whenever you are using the cloud managed switch, it can simplify your network management. So as per the switches are the foundation of most business networks. Switch act as a controller, connecting computers, printers, and servers to a network in a building or a campus. So as per that switches, the switch may be two types, that is on-premises and cloud managed switches. So next is bridge. So as I already told you that the switches and bridges, it both operate at the data link layer, that is a layer 2. So next to the bridge is a network device that also operate in a data link layer. Mainly the bridge connect the multiple data link layer network segment into the single logical network segment. Mainly there are different types of bridges are there. So we may say a transparent or learning bridge, encapsulation bridge, translation bridge, source route bridge, source route translational bridge. So these are some type of bridges are there. So the bridge is nothing but it's a device that connects and passes the packet between the two network segments. Compared to the hub, it's a more intelligent and it analyzes the incoming packets and forward based on the addressing information. So that is a bridge. So the what layer of the Wi-Fi Model 2 bridges operate. The bridges, as per that, bridges and switches, it's in the data link layer. So here in the data link layer, we are providing MAC address as well as the NIC, that is a NIC card. So based on that, the bridge is establishing the connection between the segment to segment. So from the one layer of network segment into another single logical network segment. So that is in the bridges operate. So that is the bridges. So because the bridges operate at the data link layer 2, that are not required to examine the upper layer information. So only the second layer 2 information is needed. So that is an example of the bridge. Here actually we are performing corporate intranet. So for establishing two different corporates with the help of hub, the hub is connected with the bridge. So all the way the bridges will be connected with the two different hubs. So segment 1 is connected with the segment 2 with the help of that bridges. So that's why here in terms of different types of bridges will be used, either transparent or encapsulation or translational or source route translational, like that. So that is the thing. So here the different type of bridge type. One is the Ethernet type, that is a transparent or a learning. Second thing is a transparent with the source route. That's the thing. So these are the different types of bridges. First one is a transparent. Second thing is the source route. Next thing is the encapsulation. So that's the thing. So the bridge summary. So whenever the summary of the bridge here is more intelligent than a hub, it can analyze the incoming packets and forward based on the addressing information. It collect and pass the packets between the two network segments, and also it controls the broadcast to the network, and mainly it maintains the address table. And some of the types already we discussed different types of bridges. We may say the transparent, encapsulation, translational, source route, and apart from that, source route translation also. So these are some of the different type of bridges they are using at present in the industry. So here the bridging, all the way the bridging shared the media. That is here the 10 Mbps coaxial cable shared media. So with the help of that, we are connecting between the two different segments with the help of the hub within the bridges. So that is the thing. So this is a bridging, that is a shared media. So as per that, here the next thing is how to bridges filter the network traffic. How to bridges filter the traffic network. So as per that, here all the way. So the different segments are there: UARK, QVBX, and FLC, and VX, like that. So here we are performing the communication from here to that. So whenever we are performing such a thing, first the data packet is sending from V, that is a source. So all the way from this end, the packet travels by all the nodes on a network segment through that bridges. So it will communicate to the here the bridges checks. It's a table to determine whether or not allow the signal to continue to other segment of the network. So here we are transferring that it will to the L as well as the F, Q, CT like that. So which one we want to say transfer information. So here the data packet is X from the XE also. So that also will be checking all the way. So next the packet travel to all the node on the source V's network segment. So that is the thing. So next to performing, the bridges check their routing table to determine whether or not to allow the signal to continue to other segment of the network or not. If it's so, then it will be transformed from one end to another end. So finally, the data packet reaches its final destination. That's the thing. So this is an example how the data packets originate from the computer B, so from one segment to its destination is computer HH. That is another destination. So that is happening with the help of these different switches. So that is the thing. So next, how are bridge data forwarding decisions limited? So this is here all the way. Whenever we are using the bridges, it's one important thing is that the data forwarding. So how the data forwarding decision is limited in that bridges. Here, although the bridges are used, you use the table to determine whether or not to forward the data to other segment of the network. So the types of comparisons and decisions they make are relatively low level, or it may be a simple one. So for that, that's the problem. So what type of network traffic problem is a bridge incapable of solving the thing? So here, however, when the traffic between the network segment it becomes too heavy, the bridge can become a bottleneck and actually slow down the communication. So that is another important thing. So whenever the bridges work best where the traffic from one segment of a network to other segment is not too great. So how many addressing schemes are there in networking? So what are the different addressing schemes? So as per that, here we have already learned that one of the addressing scheme is that is a MAC address. So the one address is a MAC. Already we have seen that MAC is available in the data link layer. So that MAC address. The second addressing scheme is in networking makes use of it's called as an IP address. So for the establishing communication between one end to another end, mainly we are using the IP addresses. So the IP address we know that .HTML format, domain name system, so different terms are there, different types are there. So based on the types, we are performing that addressing schemes, and that is the two types. So how do the IP addresses differ from the MAC address? So whenever we are performing that MAC and IP address, so here like MAC addresses, every IP address is also unique, but no two IP addresses are ever alike. So that's the thing. So, however, while the MAC addresses are physical addresses that are actually hard coded into the NIC card, that is a NIC card, that and occur at the data link layer. So that's based on that the IP addresses are implemented in either in software and occur at the network layer of the OSI model. That's a very important thing. The IP addresses are implemented in software and occur at the network layer of the OSI model. So next thing, what are the routers? So routers mainly the routers will be located in the we may say the network layer. So the main emphasis is the router. It performs the network layer function. So here router connect the multiple networks together. So they also connect the computers on those networks to the internet. So whenever the routers are it enables all the networked computer to share a single internet connection, which saves the money. That is the routers act as a dispatcher. So that is a very important thing. Whenever the router is another type of internet working devices, here these devices pass the data packets between the network based on the network protocol or layer 3. That is the routers present in the layer 3. So routers have the ability to make the intelligent decisions as to the best path for delivery of the data on the network. So as per that router, sometimes the routers act as a dispatcher. Whenever the routers act as a dispatcher, it analyzes data being sent across a network and it chooses the best route for the data to travel and send it on its way. So that is a very important thing in that router. So router connect your business to the world and it protect the information from the security threat, and also it can even decide which computer receive the priority over others. So beyond those basic networking functions, the router come with additional features to make the networking easier and also more secure. So depending on your security needs, for example, we may say you can choose a router with a firewall, or a virtual private network, or a internet protocol, that is IP communication system like that. So that is a very important thing in the router. So the network layer, as per that, the router is present in the network layer, that's the layer 3. So layer 3 function to find the best path through the internet network. So which path is best? So that will be performed with the help of the router table. So it addresses represent the path of media connections. The routing helps the container broadcasting from one end to another end. So that is here, as per that, all the network addresses and node addresses will be available in that routing table. So based on that information, you will be transfer the information. So here, what network problem can routers help resolve? So here, the problem of excessive broadcast traffic can be solved by using a router. Router are able to do this because they do not forward the broadcast frames unless specifically told to do so. So based on that, only the routers is performing all the way. So that's why the networking problem is solved. It will be resolved with the help of routers. So here the network layer, communication path. Here the addresses represent the path of the media connections, and routing mainly it helps the contain broadcasts. So how do routers differ from the bridges? So bridges and routers, in what way? How the routers is differ from bridges? The routers differ from bridges in several aspects. The first one is the bridging occur at the data link layer, that is a layer 2, but whenever the routing is occur in the layer 3, that is the network layer. And next, the bridges use the physical or MAC addresses to make the data forwarding decisions. But as per the router, you use a different addressing scheme that occurs at the layer 3. So that is the thing. So that's the main differences. And how do routers work? So what about how it works, how the router works? So the routers are used to connect the 2 or more networks. So for routing to be successful, each network must have a unique network number. So that is the thing. So based on that number, here the router, the port where a router connect to the network A, I would have an IP address of A5. So that's the thing. So next, here, IP address of the router second interface would be B5. So the network A and network B. So here we are having 4 systems in the network A and 4 systems in that network B. And here all the way, this connection is for this interface is called as the A5 and B5. So that is in the based on that. So here the router would determine to send the data from network A to network B out is the port with the IP address B5. So here all the way we are using other networks also, network C and network D is also there. So based on that we are communicating from one end to another end. So that is the router is act as a communication media from one network to another network. So next one. So these are the overview of networking devices from hub, router, bridges, gateway, and different repeaters. So all the way we are using that different networking devices from the physical layer, data link layer, and the network layer. So based on that, what is the need for the network security? So here mainly the devices is main important part for the establishing such a communication. Apart from that, whenever establishing such a communication, the network security is also a very important thing. So the use of the internet has been increased drastically. So as we are moving even our day-to-day activity towards that complete digitalization. So at present we are in the IoT world, that is we may say. So as per the IoT world, all the things are digitalized. So due to that increase in the use of internet, hackers and attackers also become more active, and our networking system tends to a higher number of virus attacks. So basically, the need for network security is to perform the 2 tasks mainly. First is to secure the information from any unauthorized access. That's one important way. Second is to provide the security to the data stored at a PC or a laptop, not only for an individual network, but also on the shared or public domain network. So that is the thing. So for that, need for that information security is based on that. The following point, the first point, to protect the information against any unwanted access. So that's the thing. So what's the need for network security? The first one, to protect the information against any unwanted access. Second, to safeguard the data from any inappropriate delay in the route followed to deliver it to the destination at the desired period of time. Third is to guard the data from any undesired amendment. So that is also, that's why we go for the network security. And fourth one is to prohibit a particular user in the network from sending any mail or any messages in such a way in which it appears to the receiving party that it has been sent by some third party. So that is the thing, the protecting from hiding the identity of the original sender of the resource message. So that is the thing that's also happening. So based on that. So next point, need for the security to mainly whenever we are using that security, network security, it will be useful for to code over that hardware like hard disk or PC or laptop from the attack of the malware or virus, etc., which can damage our system by corrupting or deleting all the content stored within it. So next thing, to protect our PCs from the software which if installed can harm our system as hackers will do. So next thing, to safeguard our system from the Trojan horses, worms, etc., which can completely destroy our system. So for that purpose, we are going for that network security. So what are the basic security requirements? So whenever we go for that security requirement, we may say to provide adequate protection of the network resources or the processors or some technologies that you deploy need to guarantee the three things. We may say CIA tried. That is a C for confidentiality, E for integrity, that A for availability. So based on CIA, confidentiality, integrity, availability. So based on that, we are making the system. So that is the confidentiality is nothing but it providing the confidentiality of data guarantees that only authorized users can view the sensitive information. So that is a confidentiality. Second thing is the integrity. So as per the integrity providing the integrity of the data guarantees that only authorized user can change sensitive information and also provide a way to detect whether the data has been tampered with during the transmission, or this might also guarantee the authenticity of the data. The third thing, that is a CIA, as per that. Third one is availability of systems and data. So as per the availability of system and data, the system and data availability, it provides uninterrupted access by the authorized users to important computing resources and data. So that's the thing. So whenever we are designing such a network security, the designer must be aware of the following. So first one, the thread. So thread in the sense we may see the possible attacks. So that would compromise the security. Second thing, the associated risk of the thread. That is, we may say how relevant those thread are for a particular system. So that type of thing. Third important thing, the cost to implement the proper security countermeasures for a thread. Fourth important awareness, whenever the particular network, whenever the designer designing such a network, designing a system, they are aware of the cost versus benefit analysis to determine whether it's worthwhile to implement the security countermeasures or not. So these are some of the basic security requirements. So as per that basic security requirement, that is CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability of the system. So these three things is very important. So based on that, we are providing the security things. So next thing, what are the data classification? So another important thing, whenever go for finding that information perspective, that whenever we are sending the data from one end to another end with the help of some devices, here the classification of data is very important. Whenever we are classifying the data, based on that also, we are predicting whether the particular data is attacked by the attackers or not. So here the data classification to optimally allocate the resources and secure assets, it is essential that some form of data classification exists. So by identifying which data has the most worth, and the administrator can put their greatest effort toward that securing that data. So without classification, that the data custodians find it difficult, that impossible to adequately secure the data, and also the IT management, that the IT infrastructure, the IT management finds it equally difficult to optimally allocate the resources. So sometimes the information classification is a regulatory requirement. It's required by the law, in which case there might be liability issues that relate to the proper care of data. So for classifying the data correctly, the data custodians can apply the appropriate confidentiality, integrity, and availability controls to adequately secure the data, and based on the regularity as well as the reliability and ethical requirements. So based on that, so when an organization takes the classification seriously, it illustrates to everyone that the company is taking information security seriously. So based on that, here the data can be classified into unclassified. So the first classification is unclassified data. So the unclassified data is nothing but here the data that has a little or no confidentiality, integrity, or availability requirements, and therefore the little effort is made to secure it. So whenever that is unclassified, we don't know about that data. So the data has a little confidentiality as well as the integrity and availability. So we have to somewhat the effort should be taken in that unclassified data. The second data classification is the restricted data. So as per the restricted data, the data in that restricted data, the data is, that is leaked data. Leaked would have undesirable effects on the organization. So this classification is common among, that's a NATO, we may say that North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO countries, but is not used by all the nations. So that is a restricted data is not used by all the countries, only used by the NATO countries. Third data classification is the confidential. So as per that confidential, the data here, as per the CAA trial, that is a confidential, integrity, and availability CAA trial. Whenever the data is confidential, here the data that must comply with the confidentiality requirement, that is a C. So this is the lowest level of classified data in this scheme. That is the confidentiality is the lowest level. All the way it will provide the confidentiality requirement, that is a C. Fourth data classification is a secret. So whenever the data is secret, here the data for which you take the significant effort to keep secure, because its disclosure would lead to the serious damage. So here the number of individuals who have access to this data is usually considerably fewer than the number of people who are authorized to access the confidential data. That's the fourth secret data. Fifth one is the top secret. As per that data classification, here the top secret data is for which you make the great effort and sometimes incur the considerable cost to guarantee its secrecy, since its disclosure would lead to the exceptionally grave damage. So usually a small number of individuals have access to your top secret data in that top secret. So on condition that there is a need to know. So that is the fifth data classification. As per that next classification, we may say SBU, that is a sensitive, but it's unclassified. So as per that, it's a popular classification by the government that designates the data that would prove the embarrassing if revealed. But no great security breach would occur in that SBU. But SBU is a broad category that also include the for official use only designation. So that is a thing. So it is important to point out that there is no actual standard for private sector classification. So based on that, furthermore, the different countries tend to have the different approaches on label. Nevertheless, it can be instructive to examine a common private sector classification scheme. So as per that, here we are saying that we mean the public and sensitive, private, confidential, and other things. So that is different types of data classifications. So that's the thing. So next one, what are the different network security types? So as per that network security types, here we can shield our networking system in various ways. It's based on the type of network attacks. We may say there are many solutions, out of which some of the points or some of the solutions are discussed below. What are the different network security types? The first one is the antivirus and anti-malware software. So whenever go for the network security types, we have to shield our networking system. In that case, the first one is antivirus or anti-malware software. Here, the production software, this is the antivirus or anti-malware software. The protection software is used to shield our system from viruses or some sort of Trojan attacks, worms, etc. So it's an antivirus or anti-malware software. So this software, this anti-virus and anti-malware software, it scans the system and network for the malware and Trojan attack every time when a new file is introduced in the system. So it also that the software also detect and fixes the problem it found with any infected data or with the virus. So that is the first network security type. Second type is the data loss prevention. That is we may say DLP, data loss prevention. So as per that, MNC. So the MNCs are large scale organizations maintain the confidentiality of data and resources by making sure that their internal information will not be leaked out by any of the employees to the outside world. So for that, this type of data leaking is done by avoiding. It will be avoided by deploying the DLP technology, data loss prevention technology, in which the network administrator restrict the employees' access to the information to prevent it from sharing to the outside world by blocking the ports and the sites for forwarding or uploading or even for printing the information. So that with the help of that, we are preventing that data loss. So that mainly this type of security type is provided in the MNCs. Third thing is the email security. So whenever all the way where attackers are available, attackers are attacking the email. So the attacker can induce the virus or malware in the network by sending it through an email in the system. So therefore, a highly skilled email security application which can scan the incoming messages for virus, and also it's capable of filtering the suspicious data and controlling the outflow of messages to prevent any kind of information loss to the system is required. So that for that we are using some sort of email security application. The fourth one is the firewall. So firewall is very important thing. So this is the firewall is that is an integral part of the networking system. This firewall is act as a wall between the two networks or between two devices, any networking devices. So it's basically a set of predefined rules which are used to prevent the network from any unauthorized access. So we may say the firewall with two types, either hardware oriented or software oriented firewall. As per that, software firewall is installed in the system to provide provision shield from the various types of attackers as they filter, block, and fix the unwanted creatures in the network. And the hardware firewall is nothing but act as a gateway between two networking systems, so that only a particular predefined users or traffic can access the network and its resources. So these are the two different firewalls we are using in terms of hardware and in terms of software for providing such a network security. Fifth one is a mobile security. So at present we are in the mobile world. So the mobile security is a very important thing. All the cyber crimes will be performing with the help of that mobile alone. So the cyber criminals can easily hack or attack the mobile handsets with the data facility on the handsets, and they can enter into the device from any unsecured resource link from the website. So here, hence, it is necessary to install an antivirus on our device, and people would download or upload the data from reliable resources and that too from a secured websites only. So that is with the help of that we are performing. We will enhance that mobile security. And sixth one is the network segmentation. So as per that network segmentation here, for the security point of view, here the software-based organizations will segment their crucial data into two or more parts and keep them at various locations on several resources or devices. So this is done so that in the worst case, if the data at any location is corrupted or deleted by a virus attack, and it can be again reconstructed from any backup resources. So that is a network segmentation. So seventh one is a web security. So the web security mainly refers to provisioning limited access to websites and the URLs that by blocking the sites which are more vulnerable to the virus and hackers. So it's basically concerned with the controlling the web-based thread. So based on that, we are providing that web security. Eighth one is the endpoint security. So as per the endpoint security, here the networking system in which a user present at the remote end. It accessing the crucial database of the organization from a remote device, like we may say what mobile phones or laptop. That's the thing. So here the endpoint security is required. So various software which has inbuilt advanced endpoint security features, and it's used for this purpose. So this provides this 7 layers of security inclusive of the file reputation, we may say the auto sandbox, antivirus software, web filtering, and some sort of firewall. So that is different layers in that endpoint security. And the ninth one is the access control. So as per that access control, all the way, the network should be designed in a way in which not everyone can access all the resources. So this is done by deploying a password or a unique user ID or some sort of authentication process for accessing such a network. So this process is known as the access control, as by implementing it, we can control the access to the network. 10th one, that's the last one, that is a network security type, is a VPN, that's a virtual private network. So as per that virtual private network, here a system, it can be made highly secure by using virtual private network in association with using the encryption method. So all the way we are using different encryption and decryption method. So with the help of using encryption method for authentication and floating the data traffic over the internet to a remotely connected device or a network. So here, as per that virtual private network, here most usually used authentication processes, we may say IP security. That is IP security. IP security is very important in that virtual private network. So there is a different types of network security types. So here, what are different types of security provisions at various levels in a system. So all the way. So here the network security. Here we are providing the secure Wi-Fi, network security, access management, data loss protection, endpoint security. So all the 10 points. All the way we are connected with some anti-DDoS provisions. So that's that diagrammatic representation is given how the security provision at various levels in a system. So here the different data lossing will be occurring, phishing will be occurring, ransomware will be data lossing will be occurring. So all the way. So that's the thing. So the type of security provisions at various levels in a system. So next, how to make your system and network safe. So as per the thing, so whenever the managing the network in such a way in which it will be capable enough to deal with all the possibilities of the network attacks and virus problem and fix them is known as the network security management. So here in this, the different key parameters towards making your system safe is the first one. We are setting up a strong password. So the setting up a strong password is nothing but to protect your system or network from malicious attacks. Firstly, put a strong password in your system for login and access, and the password it contain a lot of characters, symbols, and numbers like that. So the avoid using some of the things, birthday as a password, or it can be easily attacked or easily cracked by the hackers. So second thing, establish a firewall. So already I told you the firewall two types, hardware and software. So as per that, here we are performing one software firewall. So they always put a strong firewall in your networking system to protect it from unwanted access or other threat. So that is a very important thing. So that is a important. That is with the help of that we actually make our system more safe. So third one is the antivirus protection. So always install your system and laptop with the antivirus software. So the antivirus software will scan and also it will spot and filter the infected files and also fix a problem that arises due to that virus attack in the system. And fourth important thing, keep on updating. So to update your system and network with the latest version of the antivirus software and to install the latest batches as well as the scripts for the system as per the need of the system is very crucial. So updating the updation of the antivirus and other software, this will minimize the chances of virus attacks and make the network more secure. So fifth important thing is that we are actually got laptops and that mobile phones. So the laptop and our mobile devices and are so vulnerable to network threats. So similarly, mobile phones are wireless devices and also they are also easily exposed to threats. So to shield these devices, a strong password should be used to access the various resources of it. So it will be better to use a biometric fingerprints password to access the smart devices like that. So sixth point for making the system or network more safe is the on-time backups. So that's a very important thing. We should periodically take the backups of files, document and other important data in our system or a hard disk or and it should save them to a centralized server or in some secure location. So this would be done without fail. So in case of emergency, this will help to restore the system quickly. So that is a sixth one. The seventh important point, smart surfing on websites. So that is the thing. So whenever go for surfing, whenever go for browsing the content from any website, so before downloading or and clicking on any link or any site in the internet, we should keep in mind that one wrong click it can give an invitation to many viruses on our network. So thus download the data from trusted and secure link only and avoid surfing of unknown links or websites. So also avoiding the clicking on advertisement and offers which are frequently displayed on the web page whenever you log into that internet. So the eighth one is security configuration. So that is a very important thing. So the configuration done on the iOS or a router should be done using a unique user ID and a password, and that should be kept secured. So that is a thing. So the ninth one is a removable media control. So as per that removable media control, the removable devices like we may say the pen drive, some sort of dongles or a data card, it should always be scanned when induced in the system. So the usage of the removable devices should be limited, and such a policy should be made through which it can't export any data from that system. So with the help of that, easily we can avoid such a thing. So that is the thing, how to make your system and network more safe and secure. So these are the important key points. So whenever we go for performing such a thing, we have to keep in our mind. This 9 point is very important thing for making it. So here the example of that won't win 32 attackers. So in this figure, it has been explained that all the way. So all the way here, explained that computers with a strong password. So we are entering the password, updated security features, and equipped with the antivirus software protection are immune to the worm attack. So on the other hand, the computers are networked with a weak password out of the date system update and not equipped with an antivirus software are more susceptible that attack of the worms are easily get corrupted and eliminated. So that's in that case all the way that is very important thing, the password, a strong password as well as the updated security features and some sort of equipped antivirus software protection is needed for performing such a attacker in that system. So that is so these are the things. So based on that, Here at present we are in the business world. We are in the industry 4.0. So here all the way here network security for the business as well as the consumer. So that is a very important thing. So the network security should be high priority for any organization that works with the network, the data and its systems. So in addition to protecting assets and the integrity of data from external exploits, the network security can also manage the network traffic more efficiently, and as well as it enhance the network performance and ensure the secure data sharing between the employee as well as the data sources. So here there are many tools, many applications and many utilities are available that can help you to secure your networks from attacks as well as the unnecessary downtime. So the Forcepoint offers a suite of network security solutions that centralize and simplify what are often complex processes and ensure the robust network security is in place across your enterprise. So that is the thing. So this is an overview of today's session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time and informative session. Thanks a lot. Really, it was informative and useful for the participants. Thank you, sir. Participants, please fill the feedback form. And also, if you have any problem in filling or if you have any problem in getting your ID, those participants, please wait. We'll sort it out. Others, after filling the form, you can leave. By tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, we'll be starting the next session. So, next session will be tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
ma'am.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Balakrishnan, sir. Balakrishnan,
Yeah.
sir.
Yes.
Sir, I have a doubt, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, if I want to send a packet from one place to another place, example that I am in West Bengal, I want to transfer a packet to Vizag, sir.
Packet?
Packet to Vizag. Will we use the IP address or MAC address, sir? On what basis the packet will be transferred?
See, actually, initially that IP address will be transferred from from the remote to our system. That is actually from West Bengal to West Bengal is supposed from other state in the sense based on the NIC, that information transfer from that end to another end. So based on the availability of NIC, that nearest NIC, that information is transferred in terms of MAC, and after that it will in terms of IP, then after that it will be transferred into MAC.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes.
Balakrishnan, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, router selects best path or shortest path?
No, that's why we are using that distance vector routing and link state routing algorithm. So based on our need, we may use any algorithm, any routing.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Hello, madam. Lily, madam.
Yes, sir.
What about, let's say, Venkatesh Garu's sessions feedback, madam?
Sir, actually, it is actually common only, sir.
So, no need for that for this thing.
No need
So,
for
only
separate.
two feedback for group.
Okay, for today's session.
So, first one your feedback and two. That was just an
Actually,
experiment.
first one, okay, it depends on you. If you fill for both, no problem.
No, your presentation and this what presentation just now we had only two feedback today. Huh?
Sir, actually, two only we passed, sir. In that, some are
Okay.
filled for even for Venkatesh, sir. No problem with that.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay, madam.
Participants, if any query, you can ask.
రెండు కాసేస్తుంది అసలు ఆడవే ఇంటికి వెళ్ళిన తర్వాత అలా రోజు కాస్తుంది 36 hours అందుకని ఎక్కువ వేస్తలేదు 30 hours. Yeah.
Can I leave?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Any queries are there?
What, ma'am?